Hello students, I, Mrs. Madhvi Mhatre, welcome you all in the next lecture of Mathematics 1. We are studying chapter number 1. The name of the chapter is Sets, and in that we are now going towards the topic universal set. In the previous lecture I explained you what is universal set, and from that I made you understand the concept of complement of a set. And after that we started practice set 1.3. Okay, so let us go further in practice set 1.3. We solved two examples from that in the last lecture. I hope all of you must be ready with your notebook, pen, textbook, so that you can write down the solutions immediately in your notebook. I told you about the importance of completion of notebook on time because your internal marks depend on that. Okay, now let us go further. Question number 3 from practice set 1.3. So in the question, set U is given where we have elements 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And one more set P is given where we have elements 1, 3, 7 and 10. And then they have asked us two questions. First question here is, show the sets U means universal set, P which is provided to us, and P dash. We need to find P dash by Venn diagram. And second question is, verify the complement of P complement is equal to P. Okay, so let us start with the solution now here. First of all, we have to write down the given sets in the list method. Now here already the sets are given in list method, so we will write them as it is from the question. Okay, so for the first question we will write the solution first. So U is having these elements 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Afterwards the next step is to write the set P. Copy them down as it is from the question. Set P has elements 1, 3, 7 and 10. Now let us write down P dash, means complement of P. What is definition of complement of P? P dash is a set of all x such that x belongs to U but it does not belong to P. That means you are going to write down all the elements in U which are not there in P. Okay. Okay, so except these all four elements, we will write down all the elements from U. Okay, see, so 1 we are not going to write. So the first element of P dash is 2. You can write down P dash is equal to, in brace bracket, first element is 2. Then 3 and 7 will not come. The next is 8. Then 9. 10 will not come because 10 is present here. And 11 and 12. Check whether you have written it correctly. See, P dash has elements 2, 8, 9, 11 and 12. If we combine them together, we are going to get U. You can count number of elements. Here we have 5 and here in P we have 4 and here total number of elements are 9. Okay. So we wrote U, P and P dash. Now we want to represent them by using Venn diagram. So just recall about universal set. That universal set always we show with rectangle. So all of you please draw one rectangle and outside that rectangle you name it as U. Okay, I am going to show you the diagram but you try to do it by yourself. Then P is subset of U. That means P you will draw totally inside that rectangle. So all of you draw oval shape or circle shape in that rectangle. And there you name it as P and you write down the elements of P there, that is 1, 3, 7 and 10. And outside that shape and inside the rectangle in the remaining space you are going to write down the remaining elements of U, that means P dash. Okay. So see, your diagram should look like this. See, rectangle, it shows U, which is universal set. Then P is subset of U. So draw P completely inside U. You can draw any shape as I have said. You can draw triangle, you can draw circle. Here oval shape is drawn. And in that you write down all the elements of P. They are what? 1, 3, 7 and 10. Okay. And outside this oval shape where you can see the shaded region, you have to write down the elements from P dash. Okay. Or remaining elements from U. They are what? 2, 8, 9, 11 and 12. So this shaded portion gives us P dash. Okay, so this is P and this is P dash. Now shading this portion is not compulsory. You can keep it blank also. Okay, P and P dash together gives us U. We have seen this in the properties of complement. Okay, that if we combine these two sets, we are going to get U, that is universal set. Now let us go towards the second question. Verify that complement of P dash is P. This we have seen in the explanation that complement of a complement is the set itself. So it's a double complement. So it's the set itself. So we are going to prove it here. So for second question also, first write down these three sets. We need them. Okay. So while writing, we will make some changes. So first of all, write down U from the question. Then write down P, but number it as 1. Because what you can find is P is here right hand side. So you number it as 1. Then write down P dash, which is already present up. Okay. Now you have to write down complement of P dash. That means P double dash we need to find out. Complement of these. That means elements of U which are present here in U but not in P dash. Okay, so you will not write elements 2, 8, 9, 11 and 12. These elements are present in P dash. So we are not going to write them. So the remaining elements are what? 1, 3, 7 and 10. So that is our P double dash. Okay. So P double dash contains elements 1, 3, 7 and 10. Number this as 2. Now observe 1 and 2. Check the elements of 1 and 2 here. Statement number 1 and statement number 2. What you can find here is the elements are exactly same. And when we have studied equal sets, that time what we said is when the elements of two sets are exactly same, then we say that those two sets are equal. So from this 1 and 2, what we can write is P double dash is equal to P, or complement of P complement is equal to P. So from 1 and 2, we have proved that complement of P complement is equal to P, or complement of a complement is the set itself. Okay. I hope all of you must have written the solution and you must have understood it. Now one important instruction to be followed, that Venn diagram always you will draw with pencil. Okay, remember it. It's a diagram, it's a figure and it should be with pencil. Don't draw it with pen. Now let us go further. Question number 4. A is a set where you have 4 elements 1, 3, 2 and 7. And they have told you that write any 3 subsets of A. Any 3 subsets of A you have to write. But maximum how many subsets you can write here? If you can recall, when I taught you subsets, that time I told you that you count the number of elements. Now here the number of elements are 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then 2 to the power of number of elements means 2 raised to 4. That many subsets we can write down here. So 2 raised to 4 is 16. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. 4 times we have to multiply. So 2 raised to 4 is 16. So for this given set, we can write down 16 subsets. If you recall the properties of subsets, there what we stated is that null set is a subset of every set. That means we are going to start with null set. That means empty set. A set with 0 element. Then here you have 1, 2, 3 and 4 elements. So 4 singleton set you can write down. Then you can write down set with 2 elements, set with 3 elements, and finally the set itself also is a subset. Okay, that means A is subset of A. This we have studied in the property. So here in this way we can write down total 16 subsets. I have written all the 16 subsets for you. You can check it and you can write any 3. Okay, but to understand it better, I will advise that you write all the 16 sets. See how they are written. We have started with null set. Null set is a subset of every set. Then we wrote 4 singleton sets. Okay. See, first is element 1, then element 3, then element 2, and then element 7. Then we wrote all the sets with 2 elements. So how to write? See here. First is 1 and 3 written. Then 1 and 2 go like this way. So second one is written here with 2 elements. Then 1 and 7, this is written. Okay, so now 1 is over. Now come to 3. So what you can write down next is 3 and 2. That is written here. Then 3 and 7. Then again move ahead 2 and 7. Okay, so in this way all the sets with 2 elements are completed. Then go to the sets with 3 elements. How to write? See, 1, 3, 2. Go in sequence only. 1, 3, 2. That is the 12th set here. Then 1, 3, 7. Written here. Now 1 is over. Now go to 3. Okay. So that you can write down 3, 2, 7. That set you can write down. Okay. Further it is not possible for you to write because already the remaining combinations are done. And then the 16th one is the set with 4 elements. That means the set itself. So in this way you can write down 16 subsets. They have asked you to write any 3. You can write down any 3 of your choice. Also one more thing is that you can change the sequence of elements also. We have seen that the sequence is not important here. Only you should write down the sets properly. Okay. So here I gave you all possible subsets. And you have to keep in mind that relation. Suppose if you have only 2 elements, then 2 square you will have 4 subsets. If 3 elements are there, 2 cube you will have 8 subset. For 4 you are having 16. And then previously we discussed one question where we were having 5 elements. So if 5 elements are there, then 2 raised to 5 we can write down 32 subsets. Okay. So 2 raised to the power number of elements, that means subsets we can write down for the given set. Okay. So keep these things in mind. This will help you further in your higher studies. Now let us go further. Question number 5. Okay, so in question number 5, 2 questions are asked. First one is what? Write the subset relation between the sets. So here 5 different sets are provided to you. P is the set of all residents in Pune. M is the set of all residents in Madhya Pradesh. I is the set of all residents in Indore. B is the set of all residents in India. H is the set of all residents in Maharashtra. Okay, now here you have to write down the subset relationship. So you have to observe the sets and then you can certainly write it. This question you are going to do by yourself. Okay, so here that is why I have given that do by yourself as homework. How to do it? I will tell you the relationship like here. See, what you can observe is Pune is in Maharashtra. So what we can say, P is subset of H. Maharashtra is in India, so H is subset of B. Indore is in Madhya Pradesh, so I is subset of M. And Madhya Pradesh again in India, so M is subset of B. So in this way you can write down the relationships. Okay, P is subset of H, H is subset of B, then I is subset of M, M is subset of B. Okay, so in this way you can write down the relationships. More you can write that Pune is also in India, so you can write that P is subset of B. Indore is also in India, so you can write I is subset of B. So in this way you can write down 6 subset relationships. I hope you must have understood the question and you are going to write those subset relationships. Now next, second one. Which set can be universal set for above sets? So from this you have to find out universal set. So you can say that this B, which is a set of residents in India, it can be the universal set. Yes or no? Because all these means two states and these cities, they all are in India. So what we can say that B is a universal set here. So you can write down that answer, that set B can be the universal set. Okay. Now let us go further. Question number 6. Now this question is star mark, means what, you have to think little bit to solve such questions. They are called as challenging questions. Okay, but still they are very easy. You will find that it is very easy. Which set of numbers could be the universal set for the sets given below? Okay, why these questions are called as challenging? Because every child can have different answer. And you are going to think, you are going to apply your skills here. So let us see the first one. A is the set of multiples of 5. B is set of multiples of 7. And C is equal to set of multiples of 12. So all these sets are given to us. So first of all, we are going to write them in the list method. Multiples of 5 means what? You are going to write table of 5. So set A we can write as, means A is multiples of 5, and in list method we can write in the brace brackets, that is table of 5, 5, 10, 15 and so on. It is infinite set. No boundaries are given to us here. So multiples of 5 we can write like this. Now they have given here plus 5. So we are writing only positive numbers. Next, B is set of multiples of 7. So that in B we can have the elements 7, 14, 21 and so on. Again infinite set. C is multiples of 12. So we can write down the set as C is equal to with elements 12, 24, 36 and so on. Again infinite set. Now you can say that all these are natural numbers. Okay. So natural number can be the universal set. Then next to natural number we have whole numbers. So whole numbers also can be the universal set. After that we have integers, then we have rational numbers, and then we have irrational numbers. So all these can be the universal sets here. So for set A, B and C, we can take any one set from N, that is natural numbers, W means whole numbers, I means integers, Q means rational numbers, and R means real numbers. So any one set can be there. Either you can write N, you are correct. If you write W, you are correct. Okay, that is why I have written all the names. You can write this question as it is. Okay. So here, depending upon your thinking, you are going to choose the universal set. Somebody will write only N. You are correct. Somebody will write real numbers R. You are correct. So here, you can have different answers. Such questions are called as what? Open-ended questions. Now, similarly, you are going to solve question number 2. P is set of integers which are multiples of 4. Now integers are given. So you have to write down positive also and negative also. Multiples of 4 because they have specified here. And here you have set of all even square numbers. So you write down even square numbers, like very first square number is 1, but it is not even. So you go further. The next perfect square is 4. It's a even. So your set will start here from 4. The next square number is 9, but it is not even. So the next number will be 16. Okay, so in this way you are going to get infinite even square numbers. And for these two, now see, since it is given integers, so in this case natural numbers cannot be the universal set, because you know that natural numbers start from 1. They all are positive, they are never negative. So here integers are given, that is why you cannot take n or you cannot take w, but you can take I, you can take q, you can take r as universal sets. Okay, so thinking, you have to think and write that why in this case n and w are not possible. Why? Because here integers are given. Okay, you know that natural numbers can be integers, but integers cannot be natural numbers. So in that way you have to write down the second answer also. Now let us see the next question, that is question number 7. Again, this is very easy question and you are going to solve it by yourself. I am reading the question for you. Let all the students of class is an universal set. Okay. Let A be the students who secure 50% or more marks in maths. Okay. Then write the complement of A. Now all the students in the class is a universal set. And when you see the result of suppose maths class, maths subject, then the number of percentage may be different to every child. So set A contains the students, those who scored 50% or more. 50 is included here, 50 or more. And you have to write complement, means what? Remaining students from the class. That means the students, those who have scored marks less than 50%, because 50 already we have taken. So what is your complement of A? Is how you will write A dash. A dash is a set of students who secure less than 50% marks in maths. Okay, so very easy, one simple statement answer, that A complement means A dash is a set of students, those who secure less than 50% marks in maths. Okay, so I hope you will complete the homework. Now let us go further towards the next concept. Here we have ended this practice set 1.3. Now let us study more. The next topic is operations on sets. Okay, like we have operations on polynomials or operations of numbers, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. Similarly, here we have operations on sets. So now here we are going to study two operations. First is intersection of sets and second is union of sets. Okay, so let us start with the first one, that is intersection of two sets. Now first let us see the definition. Let's suppose we have two sets A and B. Then the set of all the common elements from A and B is called intersection of set A and B. That means what? The elements which are present in A also and B also. Common elements from A and B. It is called as what? Intersection of set A and B. This intersection of set A and B is denoted symbolically like this. See, A intersection. See, it's a U-like symbol. It's not U, but U-like symbol and reversed one. So, A intersection B. Reverse U shows U intersection. And how we are going to read it as A intersection B. Now let us see how to write it by using the set builder form. That means this statement we can write down symbolically like this, that A intersection B is set of all x such that x belongs to A and x belongs to B. And word is there. That means what? The element should be present in both the sets. Okay, when we will see the examples, you will understand it better. And word is there. So Ax is an element of A or x belongs to A, and x is an element of B or x belongs to B. The element should be present in both the sets. Then only we can write it in the intersection set. Okay, now let us study the various examples, and from that we will try to understand the properties of intersection of two sets. Okay, so let us see the first example now here. Here we are provided with two sets A and B, and for these two sets we have to write down A intersection B. Okay, A intersection B. So A is having elements 1, 3, 5 and 7. B is having elements 2, 3, 6 and 8. So now here you circle the common elements or same elements. Like see here, 1 is present in A but not in B. You cannot circle. 3 is present in A and it is present in B also. So circle this. You can see that this is a common element. 5 is present in A but not in B. 7 is present in A but not in B. So here what we can find is 3 is the only one common element in set A and B, and therefore A intersection B is equal to 3. Okay, so intersection means the set of common elements from both the sets. Now if we try to represent it by using Venn diagram, then the Venn diagram will be like this. See, you have to draw two intersecting circles. They should intersect in 2 points. Why? Because some part is common to set A and B. Like we can see that the element 3 is common. It is there in both the sets. So that is why you have to draw the two intersecting circles. Then see here, you can see the horizontal lines are drawn to show set A and vertical lines are drawn to show set B. And here you can see a mesh like structure because of this vertical and horizontal lines. This part is common to both the sets. That means this part shows us intersection of these two sets. So the common element 3 is written here in this intersection part, and the remaining part here, in the remaining part the remaining elements are written. That means 1, 5 and 7. Okay, so this 3 plus 1, set A has 4 elements. Here the remaining elements 2, 6 and 8, and 3 is common to both. That is why it is written in this common part. Okay, so in this way you are going to show the intersection of two sets by Venn diagram. Okay, let us take one more example. Okay, it is told to you that the solved examples are all equally important. That is why you need to study them. Okay, so let us see the second example now here. A is a set where we have elements 1, 3, 9, 11 and 13, and B is a set where we have 3 elements 1, 9 and 11. So what we can find here is elements 1, 9 and 11. Here there are 3 elements common to both A and B. So from these we can write down A intersection B as the set where we have 3 elements 1, 9 and 11. But observe this set A intersection B and B. What we find is that B also contains the same elements. So from these two I can write that A intersection B is B itself. Yes. So here what we can write is B is a subset of A. So let us try to draw the Venn diagram here. B is subset of A means A is a bigger set, and set B we will draw inside that. Okay, so see, A is bigger set and inside that B is drawn. Then the elements of B are written inside. They are 1, 9 and 11, and the remaining elements of A are written here outside B. They are 3 and 13. So this way we can draw the Venn diagram. In the previous one we draw the intersecting circles, but now here we have drawn the Venn diagram like this because B is a subset of A. This is a difference here. So what we can say is, if B is a subset of A, then A intersection B is B itself. The smaller set is intersection here. So if B is a subset of A, then A intersection B is B. And opposite to that, if B intersection of A is B, then we can say that B is a subset of A. These two are converse statements, as I have told you. Okay, so these things you have to keep in mind. Now let us go further and we will try to learn the properties of intersection of two sets. So always you will find this in your textbook, under the heading remember this, and here we are going to study the properties of intersection of sets. So the very first property here is A intersection B is same as B intersection A. That means even though we change the order while writing, the intersection is going to be same. Second property, if A is a subset of B, just now we have seen previously, but there B was subset of A, but here it is given that A is subset of B. That means A is smaller set and B is bigger set. Then we can say that A intersection B is equal to A. Next, if A intersection B is equal to B, then B is subset of A. Okay, A intersection B is B means what? B is smaller set and A is bigger set. Therefore, B is subset of A. These two are the converse statement we can say. Next, fourth one. A intersection B is subset of A and A intersection B is subset of B. Obviously, because intersection is a set of common elements. So, all the elements in intersection are going to be there in A and all the elements of intersection are going to be in B. Next, A intersection A complement is a null set. When we learn complement, there we saw that A and A complement are totally different sets. There is no element common in those two sets. That is why the intersection of the set and its complement is a null set. Next, A intersection A is the set itself. So if we take the intersection of the set with itself, then it is that set only. Next, A intersection null set is null set. It's obvious that null set means no elements. So in the intersection there will be no elements. Okay, so in this way you can have these properties. Now the next concept is about disjoint set, which we will learn in the next lecture. Okay, so students, today we are stopping here. Till that, you stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. Thank you, students.